بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق أجمعين محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. We were discussing about conditions of the dress at time of the prayer, and we mentioned many conditions, that it has to be mubah and it has to be tahir, and one should not carry parts of an animal which is slaughtered not in halal way, or an animal in which its meat is haram. You know, the animal which is slaughtered in non-halal way, its skin is najis. So if my jacket is made of that, then it is not allowed. But to carry parts of animals where their meat is haram, let us say part of a cat, if it is small part, let us say small skin like a belt, like a wallet, generally ulama said it is not allowed. So one has to take the wallet out or to take the belt out if it is from an animal slaughtered in non-halal way, even if it is a small part like wallet or like the belt. Small, we mean it is small to cover the private parts, not like a jacket which is big enough. However, as we said, according to Ayatullah Al-Sistani, said carrying that may not invalidate the prayer. However, he had as precaution, is better not to have that. Ulama said even one hair of a cat, let us say, you should not have it on your dress, you know, even one single hair. So that is what generally ulama believe about it. I am not going to discuss further because the rest of the ahkam are clear, let us say from issue 832 till 855 that are clear to read, but then we come to issue 856 about exceptional cases where the dress at time of the prayer is najis but it is allowed. So what are those exceptional? We said the dress has to be tahir, and here we said exceptional cases where the dress is najis but still it is allowed to pray with that. So he said that there are three exceptional cases. Now we are going to discuss the details of that. I will read it in issue 856. In the following three cases, the prayers offered by a person will be valid even if his body or dress be najis. First, if his body or dress is stained with the blood discharged from a wound or a sore on his body. Now, if somebody has a wound and that is an active wound in the body, or there is a sore which gives continuous blood, it takes maybe 3 days, 4 days, 5 days time in order to be healed. So from blood from that, if it is on our body, that is one of the exceptions. There are some more details which are going to be discussed. Second, if his body or dress is stained with the blood sprayed over a space lesser than a dirham, which is almost equal to the upper joint of the thumb. You see, if there is a blood in our body or in our dress, but the size of the blood is less than a coin of dirham. Coin of dirham, the dirham which were used at time of the Imams, they say it is equal to the last phalanges of the thumb, you know, like this size of the thumb. Or you see like the depth in the hand, you know. Let us say it is like, let us say Canadian dollar, something like that, or maybe less than that, because this size of the thumb, the last phalange of the thumb, is something like that. So if it is little, it is okay, that is allowed. Still, there are more details to come. Third, if he has no alternative but to offer prayers with najis body or dress. Further, there is one situation in which if the dress of one who prays is najis, the namaz will be valid, and that is when small clothes like socks, scalp cap are najis. Rules of these 4 situations will be explained in details later. So he mentioned beside the 3, the 4th one, the 3rd one, he said if he has to pray with a najis dress, he has no other alternative. Naturally, he cannot pray naked, so that is the only dress available. So he may pray with that. Well, details are going to come. And then he added a 4th situation, that it is okay if you carry small things like socks, they are najis and they are in your pocket, then it is okay. Your prayer is okay. You are carrying small najis thing like socks, as I said, or caps. Now we come to little more details about each one of these points. In issue 857 says, if the body or the dress of a person wishing to pray is stained with the blood from wound or sore, etc., he can pray his salat with that blood as long as the wound or the sore has not healed up. And the same applies to pus which may flow out with the blood, or any medicine which became najis when applied to the wound or the sore. Now, one of the exceptions here, he said, damul juruh wal quruh, the blood of the wounds and of the ulcers. If somebody has an ulcer, naturally ulcer will have blood continuously. If there is a wound, naturally that wound will stay giving blood, and that blood may make the body or the dress najis. Now some of the ulama said this is allowed in case you cannot clean it. If you can clean the blood from the ulcer and using water is not harming it, or if the wound can be cleaned, you can stop the blood and can wash it, then you have to wash it. But if it cannot be washed, and the ulcer, let us say water, is harmful for it. Now, ulcer in the body may have more blood than size of a dirham that we said. And if it is at places where there is a cloth, then my cloth may get blood also. So here, you said, as long as the ulcer has not healed or the wound is not healed, then it is okay. That amount of blood is exceptional and accepted at time of the prayer. As we are discussing the exceptional cases. So they said ordinary blood should not be on our body except less than a dirham. But if it is more than dirham, if it is from ulcer or wound, and let us say that according to other ulama said, if it cannot be cleaned, made tahir, then it is allowed, and that is exceptional. So you say, how long that exception will continue? You say, as long as the wound or the ulcer has not healed. If the ulcer healed, or if the wound healed, then you have to wash it, and you have to wash the dress which become najis because of that. Not that you say, okay, this was yesterday exceptional and today also is exceptional. No. Today your ulcer healed, so you have to wash it, so you have to wash the dress as well, which was affected by that. So this is about this issue. We come to issue 858. If blood on the dress or the body of a person who is praying originates from a small cut or wound which can be healed easily and which can be washed clean, then his namaz is void. So here he added what he is talking. He said not a small wound or a small ulcer that you can wash it and you can make it tahir. If it is a big cut which takes time to heal, so we are not talking a small wound and you say, okay, whatever blood, then that is exceptional. No. So he said a small wound, if you wash it, you can wash it and the blood will stop. and you can wash it, so that you have to wash, and you have to wash your dress if the dress is najis, and then you pray with that. If you pray with it intentionally, then your prayer is not right, is batil. So again, he specified the wounds and the ulcers, that they are big wounds and big ulcers, not a small cut. That one you have to wash it because you can clean it and no difficulty there. Issue 859, if any part of the body or the dress which is away from the wound becomes najis owing to the fluid which oozes out from the wound, it is not permissible to offer prayers with it. However, if a part of the body or a dress around the wound becomes najis owing to suppuration, there is no harm in offering prayers with it. Now he said one of the exceptions is the blood of the wound, or if there is ulcer, blood mixed with pus. Now he said what we mean, that one is exceptional if it is at the place of the wound. Now if your hand has a wound and you touched your body and other part of the body or the leg or other hand or the dress become najis, you will not say that the blood here is from here, then it is okay. No, that is not okay. You have to wash it. What is okay is because your dress, if it is under your dress, and then your dress above the wound directly or above the ulcer, or if you are putting, let us say, a bandage, the bandage naturally will get blood and will get little pus mixed with the blood. So that bandage is allowed, even if it is the blood in the bandage is bigger than a dirham, because that wound is big or that ulcer is big. Not that if the blood touch other side, then it is okay. So always a blood of the wound or the ulcer is allowed. No, not everywhere. It is allowed on the wound, or sometimes a little around the wound. Okay, maybe 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter. It is not exact. It takes, so naturally little around the wound will be najis. So that one is the exceptional case which is allowed. Otherwise, if other part of the body or the dress becomes najis, one has to wash it, because other part there is no problem. You can wash it and it will not affect the ulcer itself or the wound itself. Issue 860, if the body or dress of a person is stained with the blood from internal piles or from a wound which is within one's mouth, nose, etc., he can offer prayers with that blood. But if the blood is from external parts, then it is obviously permissible to offer prayers with it. Now you know the piles, hemorrhoids, are of two types medically, you know. Some are internal, will not come out, but when one sits in the lavatory, then it come out, or sometimes it's not coming out, but still blood comes out, you know. So that blood is not from external wound or ulcer, if we take the hemorrhoid as an ulcer or as a wound, you know. But it is from internal wound. You say it's still, because it is a wound, and that is coming usually, then it is exceptional and accepted. But if the pile is coming out, and naturally always making dress, the internal dress as najis, that is obviously, as we said at the beginning, the ulcer's blood is one of the exceptions that is allowed to pray with it. Naturally, not if all the dress become najis, no, because other dress you have to clean it, but only the our internal, the pants which are directly near the piles, if that become najis, and usually it's difficult to clean it, because it will take a few days time till it heals if somebody is taking medicine, then he said that is one of the ulcers, one of examples of the ulcers which are alright, you know. And he gave the same example of, let us say, wound in the mouth or in the nose. Now we said issue 861, if a person has a wound on his body and he sees blood on his body or a dress which is bigger than the area of a dirham and does not know whether it is from his wound or some other blood. As an obligatory precaution, he should not pray with it. You say, I have a wound here, or let us say I put a plaster above it, but then I found there is too much blood, which may not be from the same blood. Maybe an additional blood is there from somewhere else because I help somebody or have another wound, and this may be contaminated from other place. So he said what is accepted or exceptional is the wound of the blood of the wound itself or the ulcer itself, not extra blood. Since you don't know, then you have to clean it. If you know, fine. If you don't know, then it may be an additional blood. So here you have to clean it before the prayer. Issue 862. If a person has several wounds, but they are so near one another that they may be treated as one, there is no harm in offering prayers with their blood, as long as they have not healed. However, if they are separate, each one as an independent wound, he should wash and make tahir body and dress each time when a wound is healed up. See, sometimes 2-3 wounds are nearby, so all of them are treated as one. One may heal, the other one may not, but they are nearby. So the blood around them, even the big wound, part of it may heal, another part may not heal, but that healing is partial. So there is blood oozing out. He said, okay, as long as it is one, then is it treated as one. So if the dress has blood from that, is okay. But if I have 2 different places, well, in hand or in another hand or in leg, 2-3 wounds, if one heal, then I have to wash the blood of it and I have to wash it, even if I have other type of wound there. Not that they say because I have a second wound, so the blood of the first wound is okay, will continue tahir. No, when it heals, then you clean it, you wash your dress and remove the blood, and you wash your hand and make it tahir. So if there is another wound, that other wound, wait for it till it get healed. These are different possibilities, he give details so one knows details of ahkam, Issue 863. If the cloth or the body of a person praying is stained with the blood of hayd, menstruation, however little, the prayer will be void. And as a precaution, the same rule applies to the blood of nifas or istihada, and the blood from sources which are essentially najis, like a pig, a carcass, or an animal whose meat is haram. As regards other bloods, like the blood from a human body or from an animal whose meat is halal, there is no harm in offering prayers with them, even if they are found at several places on the dress or the body, provided that when added together, their area is less than that of a dirham. Now what you want to say here, that we said the size of the blood which is permissible is equal to size of a dirham, as we said, like the size of the thumb. Okay? Now, that is our blood from the injury or sources. But the blood of time menstruation, even small drop of it is not allowed. The same thing for istihada or nifas, where they go to. That blood should not allow even a single drop of it. Whatever it is small should be cleaned. If it is on the cloth, should be cleaned. If it is on the body, should be cleaned. Now, if we are getting blood from haram animal, like a pig, or haram animal which is slaughtered, somebody is killing an animal and then you go to blood. You see, that blood also, as precaution, should be washed. But if human blood, your brother is injured and little blood from him came in your body, which the size is smaller than a dirham, so that is allowed, that is okay, less than a dirham. So what you want to say that but when you say blood is exceptional, not all types of blood, some of the bloods, like of the menstruation, is not allowed, and other bloods, like bloods of najis, like najis carcass, najis animal, or a pig, that is not allowed. Issue 864, if blood stains one side of the dress and then seeps through to the other side, it will be considered as one. However, if the other side of the dress gets smeared with the blood separately, each one will be considered as a separate blood. Therefore, if blood on both sides is less than a dirham in area, when put together, a prayer will be valid with them. But if it exceeds the area, then namaz will be void. Now here, give another practical example. Now I have the dress here. If it get blood from outside separate and blood from inside separate, is it regarded two bloods or one blood? If they are two, then I should see size of the upper side and size of the inside, and I see both of them will be bigger than a dirham or smaller than a dirham. But if they are one, then, well, I see its size. Generally, he said if it is same blood, then it is regarded as one, so I count them. But if there are two, the dress is covered, there is sometimes the dress is covered, so it become two dresses, each one separately is soaked with the blood. So the area of both of them should be counted, not one of them. So that is, other practical examples which might happen, and is just elaborating the meaning of one dirham on the dress, how it should be. Issue 866, if the area of the blood on one's body or dress is less than that of a dirham, and some moisture reaches it and spreads over its size, the prayers offered with the blood is void, even if the blood and the moisture which has spread there is not equal to the area of a dirham. However, if the moisture reaches the blood only without wetting its edges, then there is no objection in offering prayers with it. Now, what he wants to say here, what is exceptional is the blood itself, if it is less than a dirham. Now, if a drop of water comes or a moisture comes on the blood and then sprayed around to the skin, is that regarded also exceptional or not? He said no. What is exceptional is the blood. Now this is a new moisture, let us say new water, a new sweat, which spread around. So even if it is with what spread around less than a dirham, but that is not exceptional, because what is exceptional is the blood itself. This is little, let us say, moisture which has water, and then your skin become najis, not with the blood, with the water of the moisture. So you say whatever little, then it should be made tahir, and clean it. Well, if the moisture is only on that drop of blood, did not spread around, then it is okay, because the blood itself is najis and that moisture is with it. These are again some practical points are mentioned here. Issue 867, if there is no blood on the body or dress of a person, but it becomes najis because of contact with some moisture mixed with the blood, prayers cannot be offered with it, even if the part which has become najis is less than the area of a dirham. Then here we want to say that what is exceptional is the blood. Now if somebody, my friends, his hand has a blood, and there is moisture in his hand becomes najis because of contamination with the blood, and I touch the moisture, but the area I touch is less than a dirham, is that also exceptional? The answer, no, that is not exceptional, because what is najis here is the moisture, is not the blood itself. Not that I got blood less than a dirham, I got moisture which is najis. Moisture is not exceptional, like let us say urine is not exceptional. let us say the feces is not exceptional. The wine, there is no exceptional like less than a dirham. That less than a dirham is only for a blood. And here the moisture is not the blood itself, so that is not exceptional. These are some other practical examples given, so that one is aware of it. Issue 868, if the area of the blood present on the body or dress of a person is less than that of a dirham, but another najasat reaches it, like when a drop of urine falls on it, it is not permissible to offer prayers with it, regardless of whether this extraneous najasat reaches the body or the dress or not. Here, there is a drop of blood, small drop, but another najasat, maybe a smaller drop of urine, has come. Now, you say that it is already najis, so make no difference. You say no. What is exceptional is only blood. Now you have najasat with urine, even if it is a small, even if it is on the drop of blood, not on the skin around, but that is not exceptional. The only exception is for blood, and this is not blood, naturally is najis. These are naturally many details which I have mentioned. The rest of the issues up to 872 are obvious after these explanations. والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.